Hey, it's Thomas Mulready from Cool Cleveland. We are here today with the League of Women Voters of Greater Cleveland. We're talking today with co-presidents Catherine LaCroix and Audrey Morris. Thank you guys so much for taking time. It must be so busy right now with the election coming up, and you guys have so much on your plate. So thank you for taking a few moments. First of all, I love the name, the League of Women Voters. It sounds like you guys are superheroes. The League. It's like Marvel should make a film, a superhero film about you guys. It's so awesome. And I love that you're nonpartisan, but you're also not afraid to take positions on the issues, put out your voter guide, make recommendations, and really get your hands dirty in the system. Audrey, talk about what you traditionally have done with the League of Women Voters of Greater Cleveland. What kinds of programs have you been doing?
Well, basically, we focus on, advocating for voting. People go vote. We educate voters via candidate forums. We have an online voters guide, and in this year in particular, we used to have printed voters guides, but it has changed and become basically an online voters guide. But because of the digital divide here in Cleveland, we really want to try to put out a printed voter's guide for at least targeted areas within Cuyahoga County that have low voter turnout. So we recognize the importance of that. And that's something the League has done like for 100 years now. And we're nonpartisan. We don't endorse candidates or parties. We do take positions and advocate. We advocated most recently for a plastic bag ban, for example. We've advocated about cleaning up Lake Erie, and many, many other issues at the national, state, and local level. But our biggest thing, our mission statement is basically, empowering voters, defending democracy.
And again, superheroes at work, defending democracy. I love that. Catherine, talk about some of the other programs, because you guys also host like speaker forums, and you want people to really get educated about the voting process as well.
Yes. So one of the signature products of the League for generations has been the candidate forum, where we have an opportunity to voters to present questions to candidates. Also, though, in the League of Greater Cleveland, we're very proud of our public policy forums, which are forums where we have an array of voices on a particular issue with a moderator and opportunities for the audience to ask questions. Both of these types of forums traditionally have been in person in the evening with a live audience, which we're not doing now. We are now using technology. And while we miss the in-person communication and getting to know each other that happens at our forums when they're in person, we have learned that our audiences have grown significantly now that they're online. So it makes it easier for people to attend if they just have to turn on their laptop. So it's been a mixed bag, but we are continuing with a very aggressive program of information forums.
We're hearing this from a lot of nonprofits that we work with and talk to, that they've been forced now because of the pandemic to pivot and change and put stuff online. But once they're there, they're seeing all kinds of benefits. So Audrey, you guys had a voter's guide. We'd always pick it up at the library or wherever it was. Now that's online. You've got these speaker forums. Those are online. What about, the registering to vote and the door-to-door stuff? How are you doing some of the more face-to-face things now?
Yeah, we've had to pivot. We are encouraging people to go online. We have a social media campaign right now that's basically it's titled "It's Never Too Early," encouraging people to apply for their absentee ballot or vote by mail, which, by the way, is the same thing. So those are interchangeable: absentee ballot, vote by mail ballot. They're the same thing, and you don't need any reason to request one. And in anticipation of this year's unique election during a pandemic, everybody's anticipating that more people than ever are going to be voting by mail. So we've been doing social media campaigns. We've been doing drive-by events, because in addition to encouraging, voter registration and having people verify whether or not they're registered, and getting a vote by mail ballot, we're also very involved right now in making sure that there's an accurate census count. And we're on the complete count committees of Cuyahoga County and the city of Cleveland. And that's really, really important also, because we advocated for redistricting reform in 2014 and 2018. And the last step in that is what will happen as a result of the census.
Right.
So we've been pivoting. We've been. Some of our volunteers are older, and they've been cautious. But Catherine can probably speak to this better than I can. But we've been encouraging phone banking.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So we have right now ongoing for census support a phone banking program that pretty soon will extend to text banking. And there is also a phone and text banking campaign available that we will participate in, encouraging people to register to vote. Voters in Ohio, or people in Ohio who are not registered, can register to vote online at the Ohio Secretary of State's office. If you have an Ohio driver license or a state ID, you can do the entire process online.
Audrey, talking about volunteering, what opportunities are there for, say, somebody who might watch this, a Cool Cleveland reader, to get involved in League of Women Voters, to help with some of the volunteer opportunities here? I think people want to do more this time around, and they feel like I have to stay home. I'm hindered a bit. I would normally step out and volunteer, and a lot of the volunteer stuff is very social too. I mean, face it, that's why that's how we get those volunteers excited. So how can they get involved with League of Women Voters of Greater Cleveland?
Well, they can go to our website, www.lwvgcgreatercleveland.org, and they can connect with somebody. A lot of our volunteers right now, like Catherine said, are engaged in social media campaigns, texting campaigns, all things that can be done remotely and not in person. For some of our more intrepid volunteers, we're investing in plexiglass that will go up so that we can do drive-by voter registration. So there's minimal contact. One of we still need people to help us, with census awareness. So there's all kinds of new novel ways that we're trying to engage our volunteers. Another thing is, in particular, would be for younger people to not volunteer. You get paid to be a poll worker. The boards of elections really need poll workers, since many of the poll workers tend to be on the more senior side, and they are not comfortable working the polls in the current pandemic environment. So that would be an amazing way for younger people to get involved.
Right. Yeah, and I understand there is an outreach to get the younger folks to vote, because you look back historically and they just haven't been voting, and that voice hasn't counted. Catherine, talk about some of the specific dates that are coming up, because you can register up to 30 days before the election. Walk us through that, because it's not that far away. It's just about 90 days now to the election, so about 60 to registration. But tell us what to expect here in the next couple months.
I would say that for a voter, if you want to make sure your vote is counted, number one, you go to the Board of Elections website, make sure that you are registered and that the address there is correct. If it's not, then online, you may update it. And then, so make sure you're registered. Second, fill out your vote by mail application. Unfortunately, you have to send in a paper vote by mail application. In any event, don't skate too close to the line on any of this. Never, don't delay. Make sure you're registered. Then request your vote by mail ballot or make a plan to vote early. There is early in-person voting at the Board of Elections the month before the election. Then, once voter registration closes in early October, the Board of Elections will start sending out the actual ballots. So you can apply for your ballot now. Check with the Board of Elections that your application has been received. Don't worry that you haven't gotten your ballot yet, because they're not coming out until early October. Then, the minute you get it, you fill it out and either mail it back or drop it off at the Board of Elections, because you absolutely don't want to wait until the last minute to mail it, because it won't be accepted after Election Day, and we all know what a mess the Postal Service is in right now. So I think the big message is just make sure that your piece of participation is in the bag. Make sure in advance that you're all set. And then if you can take the day off from your day job, do work as a poll worker. It requires full day shift. That's how it's done. Does include pay, but many, many, many poll workers are retired people simply because it is a one-day, all-day shift, and they're not going to come out and do it in the current environment. So
Right.
we really need poll workers.
Well, I love the fact that there's so many opportunities for people, whether it's volunteer or to work the polls where you actually get paid. And so for people that are looking for something, that's a nice option. I'm pretty sure a lot of people aren't aware of that. Thank you guys so much for the good work that you have been doing for 100 years. And I wish you 100 more because you've just done such great work. And thank you for taking a few moments here in your busy time to talk and spread the word.
Thank you. It's
Thank you.
been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It's Thomas Mulready from Cool Cleveland. Be well and stay safe.